Today, I want to talk directly with you about something that has been causing a lot of worry, confusion, and unnecessary stress for many seniors across the United States. Over the past several weeks, many people have noticed changes, delays, or unexpected differences in their Social Security deposits. Some have seen money arrive later than usual, others noticed a different amount than they expected, and some are still waiting and wondering what went wrong. This situation has led to countless rumors, alarming headlines, and misinformation spreading quickly. The truth is far calmer and more practical than many of those stories suggest, and in most cases, the real answer is sitting quietly inside your mailbox. To understand what is happening, it helps to remember how Social Security communicates important changes. While many updates are now available online, the Social Security system still relies heavily on mailed notices for official explanations. These letters are not random and they are not advertisements. They are formal notices that explain adjustments, clarifications, or confirmations related to your benefits. When deposits change or seem confusing, the agency almost always sends a written explanation before or around the same time as the change happens. Unfortunately, many people overlook these letters, mistake them for routine mail, or assume they are not important. That is where the confusion begins. Over the past year, there have been several legitimate reasons why deposits may look different. Cost of living adjustments, Medicare premium changes, tax withholding updates, repayment schedules for overpayments, and even calendar timing shifts can all affect the amount or date of a payment. None of these changes automatically mean your benefits are being cut or stopped. In fact, in many cases, the change is either temporary or part of a normal adjustment process that happens every year. The key is understanding which change applies to you personally, and that information is almost always explained in writing. One common issue recently involves timing rather than money itself. Social Security payments are scheduled based on birth dates and program type, but when weekends, holidays, or federal processing days overlap, the deposit date can shift slightly. When this happens, some people think their payment is late or missing when it is actually just rescheduled by a day or two. The mailed notice explains this clearly, but if it is not read, people are left guessing. This leads to panic, unnecessary phone calls, and fear that something serious has gone wrong. Another major source of confusion comes from Medicare deductions. Many seniors forget that Medicare Part B premiums are deducted directly from their Social Security payments. When those premiums change, even by a small amount, the Social Security deposit changes too. This can make it look like Social Security reduced your benefit, when in reality the benefit amount stayed the same and the healthcare deduction increased. The mailed notice breaks this down in simple terms, showing the gross benefit, the deduction, and the net amount deposited. Without reading that explanation, the numbers can be very misleading. Stimulus-related confusion has also resurfaced. Even though large nationwide stimulus programs are no longer active in the same way they were during the pandemic, there are still adjustments, corrections, and delayed credits being processed for some individuals. These are often related to tax filings, eligibility corrections, or past underpayments. When a deposit appears that is higher or lower than expected, or when someone believes they should have received something but did not, the explanation is almost always tied to a mailed notice. These letters explain whether a payment was issued, delayed, corrected, or offset for another reason. It is also important to understand that Social Security does not usually make sudden changes without notification. If your benefit amount changes, if money is withheld, or if there is a need to correct a previous payment, you are legally entitled to an explanation. That explanation comes in the form of official mail. The language may seem formal at first, but it contains clear details about what happened and what to expect next. Ignoring that letter leaves you without the very information you need to feel confident and secure. Some seniors worry that mailed notices mean bad news, such as benefits stopping or eligibility ending. While those situations do happen in rare cases, most letters are informational rather than punitive. They may confirm your benefit amount for the year, explain a small adjustment, or simply notify you of a routine administrative update. Reading the letter carefully can actually provide reassurance rather than stress. It helps you understand that what you are seeing in your bank account is normal and expected. Another issue affecting deposits recently involves overpayment recovery. If Social Security previously paid more than it should have, the agency may recover that amount gradually by withholding a small portion of future payments. This is never done silently. A mailed notice explains how much was overpaid, why it happened, and how the recovery will occur. Without reading that notice, the reduced deposit can feel sudden and unfair. With the notice, it becomes clear that the change is structured, limited, and often temporary. Mail delays themselves can also contribute to confusion. In some areas, letters arrive after the deposit changes instead of before. This timing issue makes it seem like the deposit changed without explanation, when in reality the explanation is still on the way. That is why it is so important to give the mail a little time and not assume the worst immediately. Keeping your address up to date with Social Security is also essential, because a letter sent to an old address cannot help you understand anything. There has also been an increase in scams that imitate Social Security language and formatting. These fake letters and messages can make people distrust real mail. That is understandable, but it makes it even more important to recognize official notices. Real Social Security mail does not demand immediate payment, threaten arrest, or ask for personal information through fear. Instead, it explains, informs, and provides next steps calmly. Learning to tell the difference protects you financially and emotionally. At its core, the recent deposit confusion is not about hidden cuts or secret changes, it is about communication. Social Security still relies on mailed notices to explain changes clearly and legally. When those notices are ignored, delayed, or misunderstood, confusion fills the gap. By paying close attention to your mail, opening letters promptly, and reading them carefully, you give yourself the information you need to stay calm and informed. In the next part of this video, we will go deeper into what to do when you receive one of these letters, how to read and understand it step by step, and what actions, if any, you should take afterward. We will also talk about how to protect yourself from misinformation and scams, and how to feel more confident about your benefits going forward. This knowledge is not just helpful, it is empowering, especially in times when financial stability matters more than ever. Now that we have talked about why Social Security mail is so important and how it often holds the key to understanding recent deposit confusion, let us focus on what you should actually do when one of these letters arrives. Many seniors feel nervous when they see official mail because they expect bad news or complicated language. In reality, these letters are meant to inform you, not intimidate you. Taking a calm and organized approach can turn confusion into clarity and help you feel more in control of your finances. When you receive a letter from Social Security, the first step is simply to open it and read it slowly. Do not skim it or set it aside for later. Most notices are only a few pages long, and the most important information is usually near the beginning. The letter will typically explain why it was sent, what has changed or been confirmed, and how it affects your benefits. Reading it carefully once and then a second time if needed helps prevent misunderstandings that can easily happen when emotions are high. As you read, pay close attention to the dates mentioned in the letter. Many people become worried because they think a change applies immediately, when in fact it may apply next month or later in the year. Social Security often explains when a change starts and whether it is temporary or ongoing. Understanding the timing can instantly relieve stress, especially if you thought something had already gone wrong with your current payment. Another important detail in these letters is the breakdown of your payment. The notice usually explains your full benefit amount before deductions, any deductions that apply, and the final amount you receive. This is especially helpful when Medicare premiums or tax withholding are involved. Seeing the numbers clearly laid out in writing can help you understand why your deposit looks different without assuming that your benefit was reduced unfairly. If the letter discusses an adjustment or correction, remember that these are often routine. Social Security manages millions of accounts, and adjustments are part of maintaining accuracy. A correction does not mean you did something wrong. It often means the system is aligning your payments with updated information. The letter will explain whether money is being added, withheld, or adjusted over time, and in most cases, the change is gradual rather than sudden. Sometimes a letter may explain that no action is required from you. This is an important sentence to notice. Many people feel pressure to call or respond immediately, even when the notice clearly says that nothing needs to be done. If the letter states that the information is for your records only, you can safely keep it and monitor your future payments without taking further steps. Knowing when not to act is just as important as knowing when action is needed. On the other hand, if a letter does request action, it will explain exactly what is needed and by when. This could involve confirming information, responding to a review, or contacting Social Security for clarification. The key is to respond calmly and within the stated time frame. Ignoring a request for action can lead to delays or complications, while responding promptly often resolves the issue smoothly. It is also a good idea to keep your Social Security mail organized. Keeping letters in a folder or envelope allows you to refer back to them if questions arise later. This can be especially helpful if you notice another deposit change in the future and want to compare it to past notices. Having a clear paper trail gives you confidence and makes conversations with Social Security representatives easier if you ever need assistance. Another important topic to address is misinformation. When deposit confusion happens, rumors spread quickly through social media, text messages, and word of mouth. Seniors may hear alarming claims about benefits being stopped, new rules being hidden, or money being taken away. These stories can cause unnecessary fear. Official Social Security mail cuts through that noise by providing facts specific to your situation. Trusting official communication over rumors protects your peace of mind. Scams often take advantage of this confusion. Fraudsters know that people are worried about their benefits, so they create fake messages that look urgent or threatening. Remember that real Social Security letters do not demand immediate payment, do not threaten arrest, and do not pressure you to act out of fear. Official notices are calm, clear, and informative. If something feels aggressive or frightening, it is a warning sign that it may not be legitimate. Another step you can take to reduce confusion is making sure Social Security has your correct mailing address. If you move or change addresses and do not update your information, important notices may never reach you. This can make deposit changes feel sudden and unexplained when, in reality, the explanation was sent elsewhere. Keeping your address current ensures that you receive timely and accurate information. It is also helpful to remember that Social Security changes often happen in cycles. Annual adjustments, healthcare cost updates, and administrative reviews are part of the system. Seeing a change once does not mean it will continue forever. Many adjustments stabilize after a short period. Reading your mail helps you understand whether what you are seeing is a one-time change or part of a longer pattern. For seniors living on fixed incomes, financial certainty is deeply important. Even small changes can feel overwhelming when budgets are tight. That is why understanding your Social Security mail matters so much. It gives you the knowledge to plan, adjust, and feel secure rather than anxious. Knowledge replaces fear with confidence, and clarity replaces confusion. If you ever feel unsure after reading a letter, take a moment to breathe before reacting. Confusion does not mean something bad has happened. It often means more information is needed, and that information is usually already in your hands. Rereading the letter, checking the dates, and understanding the explanation can answer most questions without stress. As we come to the end of this video, remember the main message. Recent Social Security deposit confusion is rarely mysterious or hidden. In most cases, the answer is explained clearly in official mail that many people overlook or misunderstand. By opening your letters, reading them carefully, and trusting official information over rumors, you protect your financial stability and your peace of mind. Social Security is designed to provide reliable support, especially for older adults who depend on it every month. Understanding how it communicates with you is part of using that system wisely. The mail you receive is not something to fear. It is a tool meant to inform, clarify, and guide you. By paying attention to it, you stay informed, prepared, and confident about your benefits. As we reach the final part of this discussion, it is important to bring everything together in a way that leaves you feeling informed, steady, and confident rather than worried or uncertain. Social Security is not just a government program. For millions of seniors, it is the foundation of monthly stability, the money that pays for housing, food, medicine, and daily life. When something about that payment looks different, even slightly, it can feel deeply unsettling. That reaction is completely understandable, and you are not alone in feeling that way. What this video has shown from beginning to end is that most recent deposit confusion has a simple and reasonable explanation. It is not usually caused by secret cuts, sudden rule changes, or hidden decisions made behind closed doors. In the majority of cases, the explanation is already provided in official Social Security mail. Those letters exist to protect you, to explain what is happening, and to make sure you are not left guessing. When read carefully, they answer questions before fear has a chance to take over. One of the most valuable habits you can develop is treating Social Security mail as essential information rather than background noise. Opening it promptly, reading it fully, and keeping it for reference can prevent weeks of stress. Even when the language feels formal, the message itself is usually straightforward. It explains what changed, why it changed, and what to expect next. That clarity is powerful, especially in a world full of rumors and speculation. It is also important to remember that Social Security changes are often administrative, not personal. A shift in payment timing, a Medicare deduction update, or a small adjustment does not reflect a judgment about you or your eligibility. These systems serve millions of people, and adjustments are part of keeping everything accurate and fair. Understanding that helps remove the emotional weight from what might otherwise feel like a personal setback. For seniors living on fixed incomes, planning is everything. Knowing what to expect allows you to budget wisely and avoid unnecessary hardship. When you understand your Social Security mail, you are better able to plan for upcoming months, adjust if needed, and avoid sudden surprises. That sense of control is not small. It is the difference between reacting in fear and responding with confidence. Another important takeaway is the value of patience. Not every change requires immediate action, and not every question needs an urgent response. Sometimes the best step is simply to wait for the letter to arrive, read it carefully, and give yourself time to understand it. Acting too quickly, especially based on incomplete information or rumors, can increase stress rather than solve the problem. Staying informed also means staying protected. Scams thrive on confusion and fear. When you understand how Social Security communicates and what official notices look like, you are far less likely to be fooled by false messages. Knowledge is your strongest defense. It allows you to recognize what is real, what is fake, and when something truly deserves attention. If there is one message to carry forward, it is this: your Social Security benefits do not exist in silence. When something changes, you are informed. The system is not perfect and delays happen, but explanations are provided. Trusting official communication and taking the time to understand it helps restore peace of mind during uncertain moments. As you move forward, make it a habit to stay engaged with your benefits. Keep your address updated, read your mail, and save important notices. These small actions make a big difference. They keep you informed, prepared, and confident in your financial future. In times when headlines are loud and opinions are everywhere, clear information is priceless. Your Social Security mail is one of the most reliable sources of that clarity. By paying attention to it, you protect yourself from confusion and unnecessary fear. You deserve stability, understanding, and respect when it comes to your benefits, and staying informed helps ensure that. Thank you for spending this time learning about an issue that affects so many lives. The more you understand how Social Security works and how it communicates with you, the stronger and more secure you become. Knowledge brings calm, preparation brings confidence, and understanding puts you back in control.